the internet. Hello and welcome. I am Ashley Victoria Robinson, your video host and producer here in the Popverse, a virtual realm created by Read Pop, and I am so excited to be chatting with you today about Love is Blind. If you are a Love is Blind girly or a reality TV boy or a person who likes dating shows of non-binary descriptions, then I encourage you to head over to thepopverse.com, where we are celebrating the best in TV, movies, and comics, and you better believe that that includes such gems as Love is Blind. While you're there, why not get yourself a membership for the full experience? Okay. A few days ago this week, we were blessed with the Love is Blind reunion of arguably the spiciest season that we've had yet of the whole series, where we learned Jeremy and Sarah Ann, the people whose name we didn't remember for the first 3 episodes, were the true villains of this series. Jess didn't make anyone choke, but she will be appearing on Perfect Match Season 2, along with Season 5's Izzy and Season 4's Micah, and a rumored Trevor, another surprising villain of the season. Many of us shifted from hashtag Team Chelsea to hashtag Team Jimmy by the reunion. AD claims to be out of her Fix-A-Ho era, and although she may not have painted her nails red during the reunion, she didn't confirm that she was not dating Clay, so TBD. And some of our fave OGs not only returned, hey Janita, hey girl, I love you so much, but are pregnant with the next season of potential Love is Blind contestants. Wow, we have gone through the ringer on Love is Blind. We have gone through the ringer on reunions. I have to say, shout out to Netflix and Kinetic Content, because I think this year's and this week's reunion is the best we've had from Love is Blind in a long, long time. If you, like myself, are going to have a truly gigantic pod-shaped hole in your life, you're in good company, my friends. I'm glad that you came here today, because I'm going to be joined by a very special guest to give you a bunch of stuff that you can check out now that we're in between seasons of Love is Blind. Okay, Graeme, because we're talking to each other from completely different rooms through a wall, and I've definitely never seen you before, I have to ask,
yes.
What celebrity do you look like?
What celebrity do I look like? I don't know if it's a celebrity, but at Emerald City Comic Con, someone asked me if I was Kieran Gillen. Like, seriously, actually asked me if I was Kieran Gillen, the comic writer. And so I told Kieran this, and he said I have permission to lie in future.
Oh, man. Wait, were you... I know you actually did spend some time with Kieran at Emerald City. Were you standing next to him?
No, I was going up the escalator, and someone sort of grabbed me and asked.
That's one, hilarious. 2, you don't even sound remotely the same, because as I mentioned, I've never seen you. So
but for someone who's like, he's bald and has a beard, sure, that works.
But we would have been remiss if we didn't play the #1 Love is Blind game and do the question that has set the entire world on fire with Megan Foe this season. Graeme, the reunion's over. We're very sad. We definitely didn't record this before the reunion aired. You and I, people may not know, are the reality TV connoisseurs of the Popverse, so we're here to perform the incredible service of making recommendations of what people should watch now that Love is Blind is over.
I love that you call us connoisseurs as opposed to, like, trash raccoons.
I mean, I didn't know if I wanted to be like, we're the goblins, but we're the connoisseurs. We're the sommeliers of reality television here.
Oh, I like that. Yes, very much, very much. And also, it has to be said, dating shows in particular. Like, you and I both know my love for Real Housewives of Salt Lake City is obscene. For people who don't know this about me, I genuinely think it's one of the greatest programs on television right now. I heartily recommend everyone to watch it. The writing on that show is amazing. The editing is next level. Yeah, no, it's reality TV is great. I love reality TV.
If people want more Real Housewives talk from Graeme, let us know in the comments, because we can make that happen for you.
Oh, don't. I will happily spend hours talking about Real Housewives.
So we have 5 recommendations. I want to roll through them and ask what we love about them, or maybe what we hate about them that makes them so watch-worthy. For people who, again, have this void, this Shane Jansen-sized void in their hearts now that Love is Blind is over. Let's start with our most recent shared beloved From Couple to Throuple.
It's wonderful television. For people watching this, Couple to Throuple might be a show that you, like me, initially stayed away from because you thought, no, it's going to be terrible. And then Ashley was like, no, it is though, and you have to watch it.
Yeah.
Couple to Throuple is what did I describe it as? Love Island and Too Hot to Handle had a child who was not the smartest, shall we say?
Yeah.
It's an astonishing TV show. It is, and you can tell me if you had the same response.
Mm-hmm.
There are reality shows where people go on there with the best of intentions, and the reality shows where people go on there thinking they have the best of intentions and have no concept about who they actually are. And that's what Couple to Throuple is. Everyone in that show, that's not true, all of the couples in that show, with the exception of one, wow. It's utterly addictive, though. It is very much you watch going, this is going to be trashy, and by the end of that first episode, you're like, I guess I just have to watch all of them in a row now.
Yeah. And it's one of those shows that escalates very quickly.
Oh boy, yes.
Yeah, like night one, people are like, there's cameras in here, I don't care.
It does take the, we'll get to Love Island in a minute, but it does take the Love Island, what's happening under the covers thing to a whole new level. Let's be perfectly honest.
I don't even know if there's a question mark at the what is happening under the covers. It's so cringeworthy because it's the first season so far, so it's not a perfected formula yet.
Oh yeah, and you can tell that they've also stolen so much from other shows as well.
It's Love Island, but what if a throuple instead of just coupling up?
What I love about this show and Too Hot to Handle is that both of them have they tell themselves that they're doing some good.
Yeah.
That there are social purposes. I mean, Couple to Throuple genuinely has a relationship. I'll try that again. Relationship expert there, whose mission is to say, like, are you guys ready to try non-monogamy? And that's not what the show is at all.
No.
Because the relationship expert should have said from day one, none of you are.
Yeah. Oh, it's so wild to watch people who have the barest grasp of a concept attempt to execute it. And I think what is so fascinating about From Couple to Throuple specifically is if it had been produced genuinely, if it was a documentary and not reality television, it could actually be fascinating, informative, really it could be important.
Yes, exactly. Right. No, but this
Love Island.
This could be a groundbreaking television show. It could be a groundbreaking television show.
Yeah.
And instead it is, wonderfully addictive trash.
Yeah.
But it is trash. People who like Love is Blind, you honestly are probably going to love Couple to Throuple.
Okay, since we've alluded to it so much, I think the next logical thing is to just talk about Love Island. And Graeme specifically is the person who put me onto Love Island. So, and I want to specifically call out Love Island Australia, which is the best of the Love Island.
Yes, Love Island Australia is the best. Apart from maybe All Stars, Love Island All Stars just finished.
Very good.
And was great for a different reason. Love Island Australia is great because they're all just blunt in a way that in the US and the UK shows, they're not. In US and UK shows, again, they think they're making a point, right? They're like, we're here for love. And in Australia, I don't know if they think they're there for anything other than a good time and to be on television. And yet somehow have the better relationships because of that.
But also, in Australia, there's always the chance that they might throw hands, which is kind of fun. You and I have
a favorite Australian Love Island contestant. In part because she was 2 seconds away from a fight at any given opportunity.
Any and all time, still follow her. We stan our obviously Aries queen. And if you came into reality TV like in the dark days, right, in the late 90s or the early aughts, you were like, I am here for people hitting each other. And there's not as much hitting as there's a lot of like masculine like chest bumps and like do you even bro and a lot of like pushing.
Love Island in every incarnation has this thing where the boys and the girls are separated. That's part of the social construct of the show. But the boys become like weirdly emotionally supportive bros to each other.
It's actually adorable.
It is every year, yeah. And they're always like checking in each other in this weirdly like hyper masculine way that nonetheless is them being like, you've got to let the feelings out, bro. Which is a joy every single season.
Ice each other out in different little quadrangles.
Yeah, it is weird. The men all become hyper supportive bros, and the girls all say they're hyper supportive, but become like the meanest of mean girls.
Yeah.
Every season.
Yeah.
All Stars though is great because it, as the name suggests, it's people who've done it before and they come back, and you get to see who's older and wiser, and you get to see who's just older.
The fact that in All Stars the 30-year-olds are like the ancient withered vampires about to pass away at any moment, like, really delights me.
It is amazing. You have, like, you know, they're all saying that as well. They're like,
Yeah.
I'm 29. I mean, it's over for
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
Wow, it's amazing.
The other great thing that I love specifically about Love Island is there's inexplicably like 39 episodes a season.
It's daily. It's daily for like 6 weeks or something. It's crazy.
Too hot to handle.
Too Hot to
The
Handle
most
is
brain rotty show of all time.
is amazing. You know, we just said that Love Island is what happens when, you know, you have horny 20-year-olds who realize they can have sex, and the whole point of Too Hot to Handle is you can't.
Yeah.
And what I love about Too Hot to Handle is I thought I was horny in my 20s, but I was never so horny that I couldn't, for 6 weeks, knowing that $100,000 is on the line, just hold off. And these people, they always seem to find like 8 people who are like, it's only money. I just had to expletive deleted it, like, you know, last night. I couldn't stop myself. It's astonishing.
Oh, it's
The
so
lack
much
of control
to
for
watch.
these people. It's
To just be like, yeah, I'll do pretty much anything for I'll do anything for a lot less than $100,000, but for $100,000 to not touch another human person, fine.
yeah, it's not that difficult. And apparently it is for these people, which is amazing. It is the most of all of these shows. I think it's the most zoo-like,
Yeah.
where you are like, how do these people exist? This can't be real. No, like these are a different breed. Like, I could definitely go 6 weeks, you know?
Here's the tell. They did this in the first season and they've done it in subsequent seasons when they introduce each character. Because in fairness, it's a heightened situation. That's not how people behave in real life.
Sure.
Each character who's introduced, you get a screenshot of their Instagram, and then they tell you how many followers they have, and they all have more than 100,000 followers. So they're already probably not working traditional jobs.
Sure.
Probably doing a lot of influencing, probably bringing in a decent amount of money. And then you bring in a character like Francesca, who's gone on to be the villain in the early seasons of Love is Blind. I think there are just people who, when they are in a casting call like this, just go like, yeah, I'll do whatever you want.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's just it. Too Hot to Handle it. And also, like, The Circle, which is not a dating show, but like, are full of people who know that they're playing a role.
Yes, yeah.
Right? And are very aware of that. They might not know the show they're on. Like, part of the whole Too Hot to Handle thing is always they're always surprised that they're on Too Hot to Handle.
Yes.
Which
is
amazing.
impossible.
Well, it's amazing at, like, season 3. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Your
surely you must think that
contract
any...
says Too Hot to Handle.
No, but surely anyone signing on to a dating show at this point might think, like, is this real? You know, is Mario Lopez really stepping off this jet, or is there going to be a reveal of a clone who's going to tell me, like, in an English accent that I can't touch myself?
Yeah.
But they're all like, no, this is my role. This is my, like, I am, because there's always, like, an accountant / cop in there.
Yeah,
there's always the one who has the redemption story of, like, I'm a bad boy and I lost them 2,000 in the first week, but by the end, I'll have found love and realized that I don't have genitals. Right? There's always those stories. But there's always the villain. There's always the one who's like, I can't help myself. I'm just a bad guy. And then, like, you know, the Billie Eilish cover plays in slow motion in the background.
I think it's the least satisfying of all of these in the end, however, because they have to manufacture ways to give them back money, particularly when they're so
because what is it? Is it season 2 or season 1 where they lose so much?
Literally all
Where
the money.
you could almost hear the producers be like, the show's over unless we give them a way to win money back.
Yeah, so it's not gratifying when they are rewarded for their bad behavior, which is ultimately like the gag of the show. At least in Love Island, they are pretending to like each other, and same thing with Love is Blind. Like, they just do a better job pretending. Too Hot to Handle strips so much of that artifice away that by the end of it, you're just like, I don't really want Harry Jowsey to, like, walk away with any money.
Okay, talking about artifice then, like, can we move on to F-Boy Island?
That was going to be my next choice. This is a Graeme, another Graeme recommendation, so please, let's talk about it.
F-Boy Island is amazing television because it is all artifice.
Yes,
like,
nothing but.
To the point where, like, even Too Hot to Handle pretends it's a real reality show.
Yeah.
F-Boy Island has skits. They'll actually stop things to have skits in the middle of it. It is the most self-aware of all of these shows in such a glorious way, because it is winking at you, but winking at itself as in, like, we all know how the story is going to go. And despite that, it's either the second or third season where they do the reveal in the final episodes that genuinely floored me. That I was like, I didn't know you could do that in this show. Again, when reality TV surprises you, I think it's the greatest thing in the world. And it is very much like Couples to Throuple. Honestly, like Too Hot to Handle as well. It is basically Love Island slightly askew.
Redux, yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
it is like, you know, we've worked out this formula works. We will take attractive people to an island and we will basically say, do you like each other? But the gimmick of F-Boy Island is at once ridiculous, because it's so binary, right? Yeah. Are you a nice guy or are you an F-boy? Yeah. And there's no in between. Is kind of amazing. But it's also, because of that, so great, because again, everyone plays into the roles so aggressively.
Yeah, it's another one where everyone comes and they're like, I understand the assignment. I'm here to be the villain.
Yes, and then they ramp it up. Oh, there really are. But they ramp it up as well, where they're like, but now there's a skit. For people who don't watch the show and haven't watched the show, when you are dismissed from F-Boy Island, you don't go home. You go into limbo. Yeah. Which is like a physical place that they will take you to, they'll cut to, where you get taught to be a better bro, which is hilarious.
But it's also like, again, it's kind of cute, and it's like kind of a good idea. But
no,
you can't fully execute it because it's reality television.
Yes, exactly.
I think that's why like F-Boy Island is so charming at its heart, because like the idea of like being a better person, is attractive to us as human beings, and then putting this sort of like dating type reality layer on top of it just makes it very, very silly.
Love is Blind and Couple to Throuple and Too Hot to Handle, where they're like, it's not just a dating show, you guys. Like there's social content. You're going to learn and grow with the people on this show. As opposed to like Love Island, which doesn't care about learning and growing at all. No. Love Island is 100% just like, are they going to get it on? Who knows?
Yeah. Like to have on Love is Blind specifically this season, Clay spends a lot of time being like, I'm a better man for this experience. And I'm like, for the last 21 days? I mean, not unheard of, but there's a lot of
Couple to Throuple does have the person who comes out as bisexual by the end of the season.
Which is very, very sweet and very true.
Which is, it's like one of the sort of pure moments of that show, which otherwise is so much artifice. But there is this thing of like, I get that it is a very short time frame, but it's such an intense thing as well, because you're only doing this. It's the thing about Love Island where I'm always like, how can you have this really intense relationship? And then you remember, you don't have anything else to distract you. Well, you're in the space where all you can do.
Love Island, and then Too Hot to Handle, more specifically, really illustrate what a tragedy it is to be hot when you're a teenager. You have to be ugly as a teenager, because you develop a personality. You're funny, you're witty, you learn a lot about Lord of the Rings, or you develop like basic social skills. So you and I have been talking for 22 minutes, and I think we're doing pretty good so far. And like on Too Hot to Handle and Love Island, sometimes you're just like, these people can't even speak to each other because they've never had to speak to another human being and hold.
It is all of these shows sort of point to you see when people don't have any social skills whatsoever.
Let's wrap up our top 5 list. I want to talk about The Ultimatum, which I think is the most toxic of the Lachey family.
Thank you for saying that, because The Ultimatum is... here's the thing. I think The Ultimatum is like weird and creepy and bad. In the same way, honestly, I think that I think Love is Blind is also weird and creepy and bad. Yeah. There's something about both those shows where I'm like, I feel slightly dirty watching it in a way that I don't, Love Island or even Too Hot to Handle. There's something about The Ultimatum where it's like, this is people's lives.
I think
this is people's lives here.
I mean, thank you, kinetic content, for both of them, and please never stop. I think it's the therapy talk aspect of it. I think it's the idea that we're just cracking people's heads open and we're starting to like dig around in there, but we don't give those people the coping skills
No.
to come out the other side of, like, as you say, this like intense, hyper-focused experience that is very, very much not real life. So first of all, ultimatums don't work. Like, point
Yeah, but
period.
sure, but you can't say that. The show's called The Ultimatum.
No, in the same way that Love is Not Blind. So both of those shows from jump, flawed concept. And then to have a married couple come out and be like, yeah, I didn't trust my husband. I dug through his phone. Then I gave him an ultimatum. Now we're married. Like, that's the pinnacle we're supposed to be shooting for. Is hilarious.
There are a lot of people are showing their own butts on The Ultimatum. Shall we say?
Is also just a bunch of 23-year-olds who are like, marry me, marry me, marry me. And I'm like, don't you have something more fun to do at 23 years old than, like, plan a wedding?
No, because, like, think about all the reality shows that are based around weddings.
I know.
90 Day Fiancé. Like, there's,
Yeah.
you know, Say Yes to Dress. I see, there's me showing my age by saying Say Yes to Dress, which I think has been off the air for, like, 10 years.
I don't know about you, but, like, as an immigrant, I cannot watch 90 Day Fiancé. I find it, 1, too triggering, and 2, the things that are just... they just lie about, like, that are just patently wrong and not part of the immigration process, like, is insulting.
Wait, are you telling me that reality is not reality?
I know, but it's the one that I can't watch it. I'm just like, no.
I honestly, because here's the thing, The Ultimatum is like darkly beguiling in terms of reality TV, but
Yes.
ultimately I think that's the one I can't watch.
Okay,
I think The Ultimatum is the one where I'm like, are you going to say Ultimatum Queer Love or whatever it's called?
So first of all, I was really hoping it was going to be a bunch of gay men who were going to throw hands. I was really hoping for,
You
like,
know what you want from your reality show.
early season untucked drunk Jujubee and Shangela. Like, that's what I was hoping. It was a bunch of nice lesbians and non-binary folks who had very intense conversations for 10 episodes, and it was really interesting and it was really charming in that way, but it because it was all women and non-binary folks, it was very emotional and very intense, and it was not as trashy as I was hoping it would be. I just want
but
people to
again,
yell.
but you're kind of getting back to, like, what we as trash people like about these shows, right? Like, we're complaining, you know, Couple Throuple and Too Hot to Handle aren't, like, could be important shows and they're not.
And they're not, yeah.
And then you get, like, The Ultimatum Queer Love, where you're like, but it was too pure, it was too nice.
Serious. Yeah, people took it too seriously.
Yeah, can we just applaud the producers on all these shows? Even The Ultimatum, that I'm not a fan of. Like, they know exactly what they're doing, and they have pinpointed it to the point where you and me are like, there's a new season, we've got to watch. Like, we get excited when they tease, do you know what I mean? We're like, oh, they're making another one? That's so great. They know exactly what we want.
But after 30 years of reality television, they should. And I think that's one of the reasons why it also, like, can feel hyper manufactured. But when it's too crunchy, that's not good either. It's a sort of weird, it's like the same thing with the personalities, like, too self-aware, not good television, but too unself-aware, not good
exactly.
Graeme, is there any show that we haven't, like, talked about or shouted out that you think we should mention before we wrap up?
Oh boy. I want to bring up The Circle, which is not a dating show at all.
Yeah.
But The Circle is my favorite example of what Love Island especially does, which is very stupid people thinking they're strategic geniuses. Right up until the point where their plan completely falls apart. At which point they're simultaneously surprised and will then tell the audience that's not what they intended in the first place. And I love that reality trope very much. I love things where people are like, I'm going to do this and no one's going to see me coming. I'm secretly the best at this. And it goes horribly wrong. And then they're like, yeah, that worked just as I thought it was going to. And you're like, no, we saw your earlier diary bits.
Okay, let me tell you, I have applied for The Circle twice. And
I would love you to be on The Circle.
They do not
please.
want me. So if you produce The Circle, tell me who I have to be, because I think I would be terrible at it, but I think I would be good television. I think I would be great on The Circle. I would not.
I'd love that you said that, because The Circle is the one of these shows that I'd be like, I'd be curious about being on that show.
Also, here's my other thing to wrap up, and then I'm gonna make you do what you love to do and tell everyone where they can follow you. When Love is Blind season 2 was casting, I got reached out to by a producer, and I was like, absolutely not.
Think of the television greatness.
I mean, I could have met Shane. Shane Jansen is my king of all Love Is Blind. I think he's incredible. I think he's the perfect character. Graeme,
I love that for you.
C2E2, where you will not be, where can people find you in the meantime online? Where can they harangue you about your Love Is Blind opinions? Where can they ask you about your Housewives of Salt Lake City thoughts, all the good things? Where are you on socials?
I am at Graeme M, at GRAEMEM, on Twitter and also on Blue Sky. If you're on the Blue Skies these days now that it's open.
Graeme, I can't believe they let us do this. What a treat, what a dream. Thank you, and I will talk to you soon. Thank you, Graeme. Thank you, viewers. Thank you, Love Is Blind, for making this video possible. What a treat, what a dream to chat about some of my favorite corners of the television universe. It's all shared, everyone's related. Tommy Westfall, am I right? Deep cut for my TV nerds. If you want to see more like this, if you want more videos, if you want more articles, if you want more listicles, if you want more editorials, you have to, my friends, please, I'm begging you, drop by thepopverse.com. We're our own pod squad in there. We're a fam, and we want you to come and check out all of the stuff that we are throwing down. Once again, I am Ashley Victoria Robinson, your pod date and your video host and producer here in the Popverse, a virtual realm created by ReadPop. Please get yourself a Popverse membership, and why not click and subscribe and get that little bell over here while you're on YouTube, so that way you never miss a single ding dang video that we're putting out each and every week. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you next time.